How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Wow, that was seamless right there. You just you got this stuff all figured out.
Well, I'm using my work computer and I use Zoom probably every day, if not every second
Okay.
day. So, yeah, I'm used to it.
Well, good. Yeah, a lot of times when people come on, it's their first time, so we got to tell them how to unmute and all that stuff. So you're right on top of it, man.
Yeah, well, I had two Zoom calls and a Microsoft Teams meeting today. So, yeah, I'm used to it.
Wow.
This is all part of the pandemic. When we got sent home, this is how we
Yeah,
communicated, because I usually, for work, I usually had with 3 to 4 meetings a day.
yeah, we're getting a little bit of a delay once in a while. It freezes just for a second. Is it freezing on your end at all?
Yeah, just a little bit. It could be my Wi-Fi is pretty good here. I don't know. There could be just a delay within the
Yeah,
internet.
that's all right. Yeah. It's not like we're right next door.
Yeah, yeah, quite a distance apart, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was a clue how you said apart. That was a clue on how far apart we are.
So
But
introduce yourself and tell us where you're
Yeah.
at.
Okay, well, my name is Dave Rossiter. I'm from the lovely island of Prince Edward Island, Canada, on the East Coast. Within 4 hours time difference from you
yeah,
this time of the year. So yeah, this is where I live. Beautiful PEI. We're an island. We're in the Maritime provinces, is what we call. It's just north of your eastern seaboard, and yeah, it's right around us. We're one of the very few places where you can cross 3 provincial within 15 minutes
oh, wow.
between Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI. And yeah, so we're pretty unique. We have a bridge now. We've had one now for the last 20 years or more. It's about 8 miles for yeah, about 12 miles, no, 12 kilometers, 8 miles. And we're an island. We have around about 160,000 people on the island.
Okay. And
So yeah, it's our little paradise. Beautiful. It's mainly a tourism destination.
it is a tourist destination, really.
Oh yeah, big time. It's a huge tourist destination. Tourism, fishing, and farming are the main economic drivers here. So
Gotcha. So from a farming standpoint, so how big is the island as far as geographically? How big is it?
I forget the amount of square kilometers we have. I live on the eastern end, and I mean, for me to drive to the western end, it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Okay.
It's not a very big leap. But what we're noted for here on the farming end of it is our potatoes. You fellas down the States have Idaho potatoes. Well, in Canada, we got PEI potatoes.
PEI
And
potatoes. Okay.
yeah, we have a unique red soil here that's very good for growing potatoes. And then, of course, our fishing industry. We're an island. We have a huge lobster industry here. Right now, they're into the bluefin tuna. So that's on right now. And yeah, so and since the pandemic, everything has opened up now. We have our tourism season is into full swing right now.
Good. So you guys probably took a big hit last year then from a tourist standpoint.
Oh yeah, nothing happened last year. Nothing happened at all. Like, I mean, March 15th, pretty much the province shut down, and it stayed shut down for quite a while. I mean, well, we had some movement the end of the summer last year. What they called an Atlantic bubble. In other words, there was travel allowed between the Atlantic provinces, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland, because the case counts were low and all that. But then getting into the fall, right around Christmas time, as we called it, the bubble burst.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we were back into lockdown. But so anyway, the vaccination started in January, and we're approaching 80% of our population on the island with double vaccination right now. We're on the cusp of that.
Wow.
So, and with my work, actually, we're delivering the vaccines every week. That's something we have to do every Tuesday. It comes in from Ottawa, and it's all logistics to our Canadian Armed Forces, but it comes in from Ottawa and to the provincial health agencies, and we distribute it from the provincial pharmacy out to the other rural health offices. Because we're in my line of work, we're listed as peace officers, so it's a secure way of doing it. So.
Gotcha. Now, is that a vaccine? Because way back when I saw that the vaccines had to be refrigerated when UPS was moving them around. Is that the same as what you guys are doing then?
Yeah, it's predominantly right now. It's Pfizer and Moderna is what they're using, and a lot of Pfizer. And yeah, but I mean, it'll come in by special freight tomorrow morning, and it's just packaged up. We send it out, and they have freezers at the different health facilities. But once it's taken out of the freezer, it has a 5-day life. So, but they have vaccine clinics all over the island right now. It's like that across Canada right now. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So you are listed at you said your occupation is listed in a police peace officer then.
Yeah, but I'm the provincial fire marshal. I have 35 years in the fire service in Prince Edward Island. So I'm the equivalent of your state fire marshal that's in Arizona.
Yeah.
And he's stationed out of Phoenix. Anyway, I look after the province. Where our main mandate is for fire inspections, investigations, code compliance, plan review, that sort of thing. It's a small office. I have 3 deputies, soon to have 4, and we're busy. Like I said, for me to travel to the other end of the province, I still do my week on call for fire investigations once every three weeks. So. Yeah, you get the call in the middle of the night. You got to roll out of bed and drive the other end of the province for a structure fire or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the good part of the job. I get to relate with the troops on the ground and all that stuff. So yeah,
that's terrific. Sounds like a pretty nice life you built.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice life. I come from the rural area. I grew up on a dairy operation, a dairy farm, which is actually only about a half mile down from where I live right now. My road is the Greenwich Road, and at the other end of it is the Greenwich National Park. I have a view out of my living room that would be $1 million view. I live on the edge of the St. Peter's Bay, and I'm probably maybe 2 kilometers away from the North Shore, which is probably some of the nicest beaches in Canada.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, no, I've had a very good life. My parents are actually still living. My brother runs the farm, and like I said, I've been in the fire service for 35 years and in the volunteer ranks. I could have went elsewhere, but PEI is a pretty good place to be.
Yeah.
It's got a slower pace of life. It's got a very rich lifestyle, I mean, and not rich as far as financial, but it's a good lifestyle here. I mean, we have a very low crime rates, and I mean, PEI. If you ever get a chance to come to Canada, I invite you to PEI. That's the place to be.
It sounds like
now in the winter time, Vicky, you're not going to like it. Okay.
I'm not a cold person, no.
Oh no, and I mean, in 2015, we got pummeled here by snow. That was we called it snow again that winter. We had the average 2 to 3 snowstorms a week. We had 8 feet on the level.
Oh.
It was the worst we've had. Well, I can remember memory anyway. But I mean, the last few winters have been pretty good. They've been not too bad. Yeah. So.
No, I'll stick to Arizona.
Yeah.
For now.
So tell me how did you end up finding us, and what have you done with what we've kind of thrown out there?
Well, I'm a product of the pandemic. March 15th, we got sent home from our offices. So we worked out of home, and we were geared to do that anyway, with laptops and all that good stuff. But I mean, things kind of really came to a stop here. Like, I mean, even fire calls, medical calls, emergency calls whatsoever. We couldn't get in for the first month or so even to do a lot of inspections. Yeah. So, but we had another, there was a lot of stress to it because there was a lot of other things. Like we were trying to source PPE for their firefighters and paramedics. And we were coming up with plans, you know, like if the paramedics were, you know, if they ended up getting sick from COVID, like who's going to drive the ambulances? So we're coming up with, you know, plans of getting volunteer firefighters in to do some of that. And it was stressful from the point there was no playbook. We were dealing with a big unknown. You know, the last time this happened was the Spanish flu back in 1910 or 12. So, I mean, nobody was alive to remember that. And, you know, so, I mean, so we were sent home, and what do? You sit on the dining room table with a computer with the news on for 18 hours a day, which would depress Chuckles the clown. I'm telling you right now. So that lasted for about 2 weeks, and I said, okay, that's it. I'm watching the local news, no more of that. So I ended up watching YouTube, and you'll get a kick out of this, Vicky. I was kind of actually interested in river tables and that kind of thing with epoxy. And I was watching a young fella. He was doing a big epoxy board for a company, a display board. Really beautiful. But he was carving the logo of the company. And it was painful to watch. And I said, man, there's got to be a better way of doing that. So I just got surfing around and all that. And I found another young fella who was carving a sign, and he was singing your praises. He said, if you want to know how to carve a sign, you got to watch Old Dave 100, Eric Roden. He's the guru. He's the guy. So, hey,
oh my gosh,
when he had the time. So I started, and it was like a movie marathon that lasted for about 3 months. So anyway, and then I said, you know, I got look, I said, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. I was always good with woodworking when I was younger, but life gets busy. You know, I was in the volunteer fire service here. I was working at the fire marshal's office for, you know, I've been in the office for, I guess, 22 years now. And, you know, for a lot of years I was doing both. And, you know, I was, you know, you'd be down around the farm. So you're busy and all, you just kind of get away from that. And I was also, you know, part of the thing with, and I know Matt Bay and a lot of guys can relate to this. When you're in the fire service for any length of time, whether you like it or not, PTSD is going to come knocking on your door. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the volunteer service or the career service. And I mean, I got 35 years in, and, you know, I spent last 22 with the office. So, I mean, I've dealt with every fire fatality. I was the guy that attended the autopsies. And I always found that if you could keep yourself busy, you can manage a lot of that.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic hit, and, you know, I'm an avid skeet shooter. I used to go shooting 2 to 3 times a week. Well, that got shut down.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I used to drive a motorcycle one time. Well, you don't do that in the wintertime here. So anyway, I said, yeah, I'll give this a try for a little while, and tried it. So I ordered some bits and a base and ordered a router. And it was kind of ironic because everything came on a Friday, and we had a skeet shoot on a Saturday. And it was a memorial skeet shoot for one of our older members that passed away just about a year prior to that. So I said, I'll make a little plaque for the shoot, you know, Bill Morrell Memorial. That was the first one I done. And, you know, I know it all. Yeah. I even done outset, you know, right off the bat. Who does that? You know, starting off. So anyway, that's how I got started. And I've probably done about 150 signs since. So, and I mean, I'm not in it for the money or anything like that. In fact, like, I have people now coming to me wanting me to make them signs. They want to buy them.
Yeah.
And somebody saying, well, you know, you should hang your shingle. I said, I don't have the time. I mean, that's with my job. I mean, you know, I work full time, and my job gets kind of demanding too on the on-call.
Right.
But not only that, I mean, I deal with, we give recommendations to the fire service all the time. So I'm forever meeting with somebody, you know, during the week. So after the workday, because I don't expect a volunteer firefighter to leave their work to come meet with me. I meet with them on their time when they're available. That's how it works. So yeah, but I mean, it's fun, you know, like, I mean, I was off for 2 days last week, and I think I done 6 or 7, you know, just, I'm an early bird. I get up usually around 5 a.m. and, you know, so usually a lot of time if I'm, and I kept that regime up because I didn't want to fall into a rut when we were going through the whole pandemic stage. I said, I got to try and keep, you know, I don't want to be regimental, but I just wanted to keep some sort of routine going instead of, you know, okay, I'm working from home, so I slide out of bed at 7:30. No, that doesn't happen. You know, anyway.
Well, I try, but I keep waking up and it makes me mad.
Oh yeah, you know, and if you get too busy making signs, put a shingle out, and people start ordering stuff, then it just becomes another job that you're having
Have
to
to do
manage with
instead.
what everything else you got going on. So just do it for fun. Absolutely. 'Cause
Oh yeah, and that's what I do. And you know what? If I make enough to buy my signboards
yeah,
and my Marsh ink and all that kind of stuff, you know, it can be a little bit of a challenge sourcing some stuff. I mean, I'd love to get some of that redwood and big Western cedar that you fellas have. I mean, we get the cedar fence boards here at Home Depot, but I mean they're like wafers, like
yeah, they're
they're
getting
like
thinner and thinner. They used to be 3/4, and now they're
half
closer to
inch is
half
what
inch.
the width is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what
But I
other
mean,
I see some stuff behind you there. What other kind of materials are you using besides?
uh, mainly the cedar fence board, but I do use pine. That's usually about it.
Yeah,
You can get, actually, they're called seconds, but Kent, which is another like Home Depot, you can buy them like 1 foot by 2 foot for like $2, and they're a thicker board, and but you got to root through them. You got to go, you go through a pallet of them, you might get 20 type thing, that type of thing. But now we now have an Amish sawmill just probably 10 minutes away, and because I did buy some material from them, because I'm talking to you in my enclosed deck here out in the backyard, and we enclosed it and screened it in because we got mosquitoes here that can rape you. So anyway, I bought all the Amish lumber, and when I was talking to him, I actually, the cost of building material went completely ridiculous.
yeah.
I know it did everywhere, but even here. And I mean, I remember getting quotes for it. It was unbelievable. And I said, "Oh, we'll try the Amish." They were half the price.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, order." I ordered. He said, "Yeah, it'll be ready for you next week." So I made him a sign, and he was as tickled pink as can be,
Yeah.
with a big saw blade on it and all that stuff. And I asked him, I said, like, "Do you get any pine in?" "Yeah, every now and again." "Well, maybe around, "Oh yeah." So I have to go see him one of these days soon and try and see what he has. But he's been swamped too. He's busy with I got some 2x4s to make some lawn furniture here. And I mean, a 2x4 here in Canadian dollars for the big box stores was like $12
Woo.
for an 8-foot junk.
Wow.
And you can buy it from the Amish for about $4.25.
Wow.
So yeah, but they got swamped. They just, like they're in fact, I have a guy coming here, an Amish guy, to give me a price to see, doing my roof, and he says we might get to it by March of next year. I said, "That's fine."
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's the world we live in now. Yeah, I mean, trying to get a building contractor to buy a vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they're staying busy. I mean, for those that are, God bless them. But
Did you guys lose a lot of businesses during the pandemic when everything shut down?
No, there's been a few, but it hasn't been too bad. Like the businesses here are pretty resilient on the fact that a lot of them deal with seasonal business and tourism. So like when they were opened up last year, they did get some and whatnot. But I mean, the province here was very proactive. Like when things did start to open up, like even for like the restaurant industry, like they pumped money into it where, if you, for a time period, everything was half price on the menu.
Right.
Just to get people to go out and eat,
To get
and
them going.
the restaurants going and people going to work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that they pumped a lot down. That was the provincial the province done that. They done a bunch of them promotions, and they set up a bunch of programs, for that, which done a lot of good. Like there's a lot of businesses that did, but and up here as well, it was kind of a sidekick. They had what they call CERB. It's a fund that if you've lost your job, you can basically apply for it, and you get $2,000 a month from the federal government.
Really?
Problem with that is some people are getting a little bit too comfortable with that, and they're not too keen on going back to work.
I think we're having a little of that happening down in the States too, from what I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I mean, like here we have, like in the spring of the year when the lobster season's on, we have fish plants, and I mean they're having to take foreign workers in to work them jobs, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what the fall harvest is like here for the potatoes, because, you know, a lot of the farmers, it shouldn't be too bad. You know, things are coming around there's, you know, it's starting to get better, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
definitely.
So you said you worked on a dairy farm. Was that your parents' dairy farm then? That's right down the road that your brother runs
Yep.
now? Really?
Yep. Yeah.
So still have the dairy.
He still has it. It's a small operation, and I mean, it's hard to do now, run a small farm, because the margins are so thin and get thinner every year.
Yeah.
And, you know, the guy, I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to stick with it. And I hope, you know, hope for a while. But you know, the thing is too, he has some equity there between land and cattle and quota. We're on a quota system up here for the dairy, like the farmers. You just can't walk in and start a dairy farm. You have to be able to buy quota in order to do that. So it keeps fly-by-nighters out of the business, out of the industry, and it kind of a little bit more secure.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of stressors to it and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And you just decided early on that the dairy wasn't your thing, that you wanted to go into fire service?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, I've worked since I was in high school. So, I mean, I've worked other jobs. I've worked in the fishing industry. You know, I ended up, I was a lobster buyer for a while, and
Got it.
I worked for other farms and worked and whatnot. But I mean, I just wanted to try other things. You know, I worked for the federal government for a while, Agriculture Canada. We have a research station in Charlottetown where they do, you know, experiments on crops. And I worked at that for a while. You know, I kind of a jack of all, master of none. But I've one of the things that was always a constant was the volunteer fire service. I was in that, and I was always taking courses on that, which made my mother furious for the simple reason. I was in high school. I hated school. I mean, you go there. I went. You know, I had to go. But it was funny when I got into the fire service, and the more I got up the ladder, you know, chief and whatnot, and got into the fire marshal's office, you know, I was taking university courses and getting 95s, 99s, and she was just, why couldn't you have done that like 15 years ago? Like,
Yeah.
anyhow. So, but yeah, no, it's just that was the niche, you know. I mean, I've been in leadership roles in the fire service, you know, from the training standpoint and all that. I was on the board of the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs, and right now I'm the past president of the Canadian Council of Fire Marshals, Fire Commissioners in Canada. So I'm the old guy now on the Fire Marshals board across Canada. There's only like 13 or 14 of us now, but you know, one for every province and territory. But it's unique, you know. Canada, it's a diverse country, you know. I mean, we have the you know, the French within Quebec, but we have a lot of French within the Maritimes as well. There's a big French Acadian population in New Brunswick. We have one here on the island on the western end in the Wellington area. We have a French language school board, you know. So yeah, it's a unique spot to be.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sounds
It just
cool.
it sounds really cool. So when you say the fishing industry, is that only just saltwater fishing, or do you guys do fresh? Is there freshwater fishing?
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's some, but that's mainly like trout and brook trout right now. What's big right now, and everybody's doing it. They'll be starting around this time of the evening at 7 o'clock here in PEI. They do a lot of striped bass fishing along Georgia, and that's all around the island. It's all, but it's got to be on tidal waters, which is salt water.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just go along the North Shore. They got bass gear. There's guys going around selling it now. It's becoming quite a little thing now.
Huh.
Because you're allowed to keep it, and you don't need a license. This is the funny thing. For tidal water fishing like that, for that recreation, you don't need a license. So we got guys, they'll go out to the beach, they'll cast out, and a lot of people make an evening out of it. They'll build a small bonfire, they'll throw the lines out, they use mackerel for bait, and you know, like they're catching bass, you know, 9-10 pounds.
Wow.
You know, yeah, big stripers. And there's size limits in there. They got to use like a non-barb circle hook,
Yeah.
that type of thing. But and so if they're too big, they have to go back, and there's a window there that they can keep. And
Yeah.
apparently, I haven't had one yet, but they say they're tremendous eating fish as well. Like they're good eating fish.
That's what,
Yeah, there you go. This is big bass country, Eric. You'll have to come up here.
You know what? You sold me. Man,
You'll be looking for airline tickets.
yeah, I'm on my way. That sounds awesome. I just got to get there before winter because I'm not a cold weather kind of dude.
Well, there's always next year too.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the thing.
So,
I have a question.
oh yeah.
So you said you started looking at river tables. Have you done anything with any of the epoxy or resin?
No, I haven't. I haven't yet, but I'm kind of looking into maybe incorporating some of it, like what you fellas do with my carving and using some epoxy. My wife wants to get into some charcuterie boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I want to play with the carving a little bit longer, and if we can get some decent wood too. But that's one of the things. I mean, we're a busy couple too. We don't have kids, but my wife, she's off right now. She's not here this evening, but she just had knee surgery, so she's off in October. But she works in the operating room at our big hospital in Charlottetown, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. So
Wow.
so yeah. So anyway, yeah. But that's one of the things that we do want to try and do is maybe something small on boards, because I'm just doing this out of my garage right now, and
Yeah.
I don't have a shop or anything. Shop yet. She keeps saying you need a shop. Yeah. Okay.
Well, where are you doing your routing right now? In the garage?
Yeah. Last year I was doing it out here on the deck. I just had a pop-up tent, and I started in June and I ended the 1st of November. So I went from mosquito season right to frostbite.
Oh man.
So then I made some room. We have a 1-car garage. We have a 2-story home with 1-car garage, and I never really used it to store a vehicle because I've seen too many fires where vehicles will start within a garage and all that. So it's I call it the biggest mudroom you can have / router room / skeet reloading room. I got all my reloaders for my shotgun shells in there too. So yeah, it's quite a room.
Yeah, sounds like you need a shop.
Yeah, big time, I think. Yeah. So anyway, I'll get the roof on the house first.
Wow. Well, Dave, any advice that you would have for somebody that's just starting out as far as carving signs?
Yeah, you got to be patient. But I mean, it's worth the investment of getting the right bits and the right base and research. Don't, you can, like all the mistakes that you talked about in your videos, I've done them, right from the spelling and everything else. Like, I know I only have 3 or 4 of them, and I call it the wall of shame. It's out in the garage that I so, but I mean, you just got to be patient, and you have to try and source things. Like it's harder for us. Like when I started out, even to get Marsh ink,
Yeah.
I just looked into it. I found a supplier in Halifax, which is in Nova Scotia. And I mean, you have to try and be patient with it. And another one was Auckland's Granger. They're an industrial supplier.
Yeah.
I wanted some yellow, so I wanted to buy a can of yellow, and a case landed at the doorstep. So I mean,
Oh
okay,
my
well,
gosh.
if they want to paint the lines in the driveway, I guess I'm set. But anyhow, so yeah. But I mean, the biggest thing is to be patient and don't be scared to try things. That's the biggest thing. I mean, when I watched your videos on freezer paper and Google's your friend, like that, just right now with me, I've done images. I've done an image of a Labrador Retriever, a head of a Labrador Retriever. That was the hardest thing that I've done yet because of showing the wrinkles and all that stuff. But I mean, it's an experimenting with different fonts and all that sort of thing. I'm a big fan of the freezer paper because I'm not limited. I use rapid resizer. It's for the few bucks it costs, it's well worth it because you can make anything from a keychain to a sign that would go on the side of a car, type thing. It's
it pays for in one job. The annual price of rapid resizer, I've had it literally pay for itself in one job. So
Yeah, oh, yeah.
it's well worth it if you're going to do it on a regular basis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and I do. And I mean, not only that, but you'll get something like, for the most part, what I use a lot of the time is just Microsoft Word. I use WordArt where I can go in and type something, but I'm limited to the width of the page, And that's,
Yeah.
for smaller signs is great. You can do that, but
Yeah.
I can mirror it and print it off on my inkjet, and I can do a smaller sign, no problem. It's some of the bigger ones, yeah, you got to use rapid resizer, and you got to be a little bit more patient with it and all that stuff. But the biggest thing is to keep learning, and like, I keep watching your videos and Frank Jenkins and Matt Bay and them guys, because I mean, that's how you learn. You got to watch that. And I'm a very practical guy. Like I learn from hands-on. Like, I mean, how I learned, like, I mean, my father didn't teach me how to tie a tie. YouTube did, like that's the kind of guy I am, and that's why I'm a big fan of like what your page is and your YouTube channel and all that stuff. And yeah, that's how you learn. And anybody getting new into it, you gotta, get the basics down, get a decent router. I didn't want to start hacking into a router, so that's why I went to the rigid. They're a little bit cantankerous with getting the settings, but I'm down to it now. I have it down to a science.
Right.
But I mean, and again, I'm an avid skeet shooter, and I used to drive a motorcycle. So the old saying goes, the hands follow the eyes. Yeah. And that's what happens. As long as you can, keep a good eye on it and good lighting, and you're able to see good and all that, it's amazing what you can do. And don't, experiment. Like, you can't be just going slow and all that. I used to hate knots. I love them now. The odd one blows up, but anyway, that's life.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah.
But yeah, and that's really good advice. It's really easy for someone to start doing this and get excited about it, and then try to rush through it because they want to see what it looks like at the end. And man, that's when you end up with a bad product because you haven't taken your time. Sometimes you got to just walk away, come and think about it, come back and take your time. Don't rush through it.
Yeah, like, I mean, you get some of the cedar with the close grains on it, and you're going down, it's like that. I mean, I was ready to throw the router out the door there at one point. I just, okay, settle down, put it, come back, and you just learn how to deal with it. And I used to chip out A's and B's all the time until, again, I watched you and said, okay, well, go counterclockwise. Works like a charm, I haven't chipped one out since, because wood putty was my friend for the longest while with this. I'm telling you. I go up to the home hardware store and they'd see me coming and they just, it's over there on that shelf. Yeah, okay. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, Dave, we so appreciate this. Guy, it was so great to meet you. I hope one of these days we can get up there.
Well, and if you do come, let me know. I'd love to have you. And I know that you've been probably getting inundated for this, but I just want to offer my deepest condolences to both you and your family on the passing of Dave. I mean, that was I really am sorry. Very sorry to hear that, because I still enjoy his videos. I still go back and look at the archive ones you have, and anyway, my deepest condolences to both of you.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I'm really blessed in the fact that, not to humble brag, but I'm so glad that I got him on camera as much as I did, because we can now enjoy him for generations. Hopefully, unless YouTube blows up, but if that happens, we got bigger fish to fry, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, the aliens will be watching YouTube in another million years, so they'll be making signs.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, gosh, thanks again so much. It's been truly a pleasure.
All right.
Next time we want to meet your wife.
Yeah.
Believe me, yes. Yeah, she would have loved to have been here, but she just had to run it. I was hoping she was going to be back by now, but
that's all right.
Well, give her our best.
Yes. Tell her next time.
We'll do it again.
I will.
All righty.
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
All right, friend.
Stay healthy.
Stay safe.
All right. I got to find a little button.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.